All right, guys. We'll go ahead and get started. Can somebody do me a favor and jump on YouTube and just verify that we're getting sound?
Jim, where's Alex?
Just on your phone or whatever.
Didn't make it.
Oh, okay. We would have had 3 Alexes.
Just because we had sound issues in the past, I want to make sure it's on. I verified we're streaming, just don't know if it's the sound works. Is that okay? Awesome. All right, guys, we'll go ahead and start the meeting. So anybody who, all attendees online, please mute your mic. Just hit the raise hand button. Somebody will let you know, let me know when it happens, and we'll let you talk. Remember crosstalk. If you're talking, the speaker's right here. Especially John, you're right in front of it. You probably don't want to be eating chips right in front of it. Oh, stop. So just remember, when you're talking and they talk, there's a lot of audio issues. So let's try and keep the conversations to a minimum. If you have something to say, just raise your hand, let me know, and I'll let you talk. As for head count, if everybody can, go to FamiLAB.org/sign-in and just kind of put that you've signed in for today's meeting, just so we can get a proper head count for the meeting. Even the people online. What's that?
Even the people online.
Yep, even the people online, please do so. I'll give you guys a minute to do that. I'm going to prep here. Back 22.
What was the URL?
L.FamiLAB.org. For that, yes.
I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah.
I suppose I'm going to restart. Start with it logging.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Some people have come in and it was just me, and it was like, "What's up?" I'm like, "Okay, you want a tour?" And I can't get them to log in. They can log in now.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
And if you ever need the password, it's the same as the Wi-Fi. Just type that in, and then there should be an icon on the desktop if it doesn't work. Now it should work.
Okay.
All right, so we'll start with the financial update. Membership changes. We have a total of 62 members, 62 full-paying members, and still 18 special cases. So the P&L for May has been, it's a little bit confusing, but we're basically negative 95 on paper, but that's because we got additional donations for the sign that kind of put it past what the sign actually cost. So we were, without that, we'd be negative 240. But either way, negative 240 or negative 95, that is extremely closer to the goal that we've been trying to reach, which is to get in the green so we can start making money back instead of just constantly losing money. So thank you to everybody who's been helping out with tours and everything. I know it's been a little bit more difficult lately with especially myself not being around very much. And Justin's away this month as well, which we'll talk about a little bit more down the line. But yeah, thank you for everybody that's been helping out, keeping the place clean, and doing tours, and just being here on open house nights. It's perfect. We also get a lot of people showing up on the social night because that's an open event. So if you can make it the social night, even if you just want to sit here and work on a project, that'd be great. Just in case somebody happens to come by, you can give them a quick tour, give them the spiel, let them know what's going on. Although we don't really advertise that you can get a tour that day, it's just a day that people pop in. So if you can, that's every Tuesday. Feel free to stop by. Anybody have any questions about the financials before I move on? Nope. Okay. Signage, I don't remember if we went over this last, I'm getting months mixed up, but did we go over it last month? Okay, so yeah, the sign is up. Everything's looking good on it still. Yeah, that's right, because we talked about Johan's donation. Lily also gave a little bit extra for it. So it really exceeded what we actually needed for it. Well, not really exceeded, but put us in the green. Landlord approved the solar light. We were talking about this before, but we're going to wait until after storm season to buy one and put it up because it really sucked to invest in something like that when the hurricane comes there and rip it down. I mean, let's give it at least a few months before the hurricane rips it down. So we will look into that, and hopefully it'll actually brighten up the parking lot a little bit more too. I know that's been a common question, is if we can get more light out there. I believe I talked to the landlord about it, and he doesn't mind if we put up some lights. We just got to run it past them. So if you guys have any ideas on what to put up, solar lights or regular lights, let us know. Just keep in mind, regular lights are going to require some electricity running there, and Mike is probably not available for us to help us just yet. Go ahead.
Can we have a neon sign that says gears, gears, gears?
You always have weird ideas. Anyway, we'll think about that. Moving on, board current members, it's still the same as before. If you are interested in board, please let us know. We could really use some help. Johan's been chipping in a lot more lately, which has been awesome. Even though he's in Chicago, Matthew's been still very, very busy. Justin's out of town this month, and I somehow bought a farm. So we're really, there's not a whole lot to board, but our time has been very, very consumed. So we could really use some help on that. Also, I most likely will not be continuing on when my term ends next year in March. It depends on how things go, but I don't think I can put in, I'm already slacking at this point. I don't think I can put in the time that's going to be needed. And I would really hope that somebody steps up by then, because I decided that I'm not going to do a butt in a seat kind of thing either. I'm just not going to be on it at all. And if nobody steps up, that means the doors close. The doors are going to close. So we really need people to get involved in the board before next year. The sooner the better, because we could use some help. Board doesn't really require all that much. I know in the past, my phone's all crazy. I know in the past we kind of, it's kind of been, board was very stressful, and people ended up hating the lab after they joined board or leaving. Let me turn my sound up.
That was me.
That's all right. They got, my Ring cameras are going nuts too. It's really not that hard. It's a lot of just paperwork and things. Something we'll talk about in a minute. This special thing that I've been delaying telling you guys. Things like that just need to be handled. If like a grant needs to be processed, or information they need somebody to reach out to. And that's just really all it is to just kind of hold the information that's needed. Also check in on the lab and check in on the ops people. So anyway, we do need more board people. We also need more people, and what I would like to have a team called ops. However, like I said, a lot of people have just been coming in and doing stuff again like it used to be. That is awesome, but having direct people and like some kind of ops team that we can give passwords to, or give them instructions on how to do specific things, how to check in on things, that would be very helpful as well. That stuff, unfortunately, kind of falls on board just because we want the lab to survive, so we do it. We don't really want it to be. To be that way, to where everything falls on the board. That's when board gets burned out. Anyway, I'm going to stop waffling on about that. Just the point is, we need board members, and if you have any questions about it, or questions about ops, or how you can help the lab, reach out and we can point you in the correct direction. We have things in far more order than they used to be, so we can actually give you tasks and things to do. Moving on, housekeeping. So the leaks continue to report, working through the links. Thank you again, Kristen, because she's been very helpful in that. Gave us such detailed, like you had so many pictures and everything. I sent a landlord, he's like, that is awesome. I wish all my tenants would do that. So I think they got most of it. I'm not sure. I don't think we've had a really good heavy rain The other thing is the maintenance guy's name is Dennis. For some reason, he has all my contact information. He never calls when he comes by. Instead, he scares the crap out of people while they're here because he bangs on the door trying to get in. I'm assuming that's him. If you happen to see Dennis come by, let him in, and you can let us know, or it would be best to let us know just so we know. Yeah, feel free to let him in. If you're not comfortable letting him in, don't bother. It's not a big deal. You can leave him here. He's been authorized to be here. We have cameras if he tries to steal anything. I don't think he will. He's a good guy for the landlord. So just let us know. And
what if he steals the cameras?
Oh, Jesus. Hold on, Justin. Kristen, go ahead.
That was, you answered the question about, so normally I'm here on my lunch break, and I can only stay 5 minutes when he's banging down the door, so I wanted to make sure it was okay for him to be here alone if I did let him in.
Yes. It is okay for him to be here alone. I also told the landlord if he calls me, I give him the code to the back door, but he has never called me. So, yeah, just, let him in or don't. It doesn't really matter. He'll get it fixed eventually. But, yeah, let us know. Justin, go ahead.
Adam, we talked about trying to get a photo of him so people would know that it's him and not some other crazy person knocking on the door.
Yeah. Have you seen me poster up there? Yeah, I'll get with the landlord and see if I can get at least a description of the guy. I don't know, because I was here one time when somebody was banging on the door and I was distracted. By the time I got to the door, he was going down each doors, knocking on the doors, and he didn't look like a maintenance guy. So he's probably some kind of sales guy. So I can understand if you don't want to answer the door. Completely fine. I'm not obligated to you in any way. But if he looks like a maintenance guy, maybe it's up to you. If you feel comfortable, don't ever do anything you're not comfortable with. So the other thing I wanted to announce, this is the special announcement, is we got an award. Oh. There was one of our members works for Oshkosh, and he got let me see if I can share it. Give me just a second. Let me see how I can share it. Okay. Yeah. Hopefully we don't get any embarrassment.
This is why you clear your browser history.
So I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but basically Oshkosh Excellence Award. He, well, we can't read it. I don't know if the people online can. But it's just a letter saying you were awarded the Oshkosh Excellence Award. It's just I think every year or so, they go to their employees and have the employees nominate a nonprofit that they want to give money to, basically, to help them with something. And we applied for it, and we got it. So we landed $3,500 for it, which is awesome. Thank you to his name's Deerfuller on Slack. I believe his name's Chris. He's the one that put it through and has been amazing. He's been checking in on us, making sure we had everything we needed. Really pushed it through. Thank you to Johan for doing all the paperwork. That's one of those lab duty or board duties that has to be done by a board member. But yeah, so we landed that. Part of it needs to go to as part of the application we put in. Part of it has to go to the toy making thing, the wood toy thing that we're doing for Maker Faire. So that's going to help us buy the materials, which is awesome. And then the rest, I think, for now, is going to go into operating costs to keep us,
Floating.
To keep us floating, so we're not necessarily negative every time. Still technically negative. It's just we're using this to help us. So just keep that in mind. It's not like we're going to go out and buy a Tormach or something with it. It's just it's really helped us though. But things like that, if you have your company that you work for, or somebody you know, or a company that does help with nonprofit stuff, keep that in mind. Sometimes they just give money to things that nonprofits mostly for tax reasons, but they just give money to nonprofits and they need to find those. Sometimes they do with your employees, friends, family, whatever. So just keep that in mind if you ever hear about it with your businesses or with your employers. Did anybody have any questions on that before I move on? Okay.
Adam, I just want to add to that. The other piece that was we'd happen to have that project ready, already kind of started and fleshed out when this came up. I do think having something to promote. So again, the more classes, the more things that we're doing as a lab, the more helpful that'll be for any potential opportunities down the path in the future.
Right. That's a excellent point. Is one of the reasons we got that is we had a project to spend on, to spend part of it on. If we just applied and said, hey, we just want it because we're good people, I don't think we'd get it. So just keep that in mind. That's what the, like you said, that's what the events and everything are for. Maker Faire has been announced November 8th and 9th. So start working on your projects that we can show off. We're trying to get a big display going this year. We had like one small table the first year. Second year we had a decent corner, which was pretty good. I'd like to go a little bit bigger. At a minimum, I'd like to have some stuff to show off. So if you're making something, working on something, just see if you can get it done for Maker Faire and let us know, because we can help you either apply for your own table, which doesn't, it's going to be under you, but we could still run it as part of Maker Faire. It's just each company or each person only gets so much room. So if you apply, say you're making, our example we always give was Brian had the lightsabers. If he was going to do like a lightsaber table, he could have a lightsaber table that's next to us, part of Maker Faire. It's mostly going to have his lightsabers on it, but we can have other stuff on it as well. The other thing is, because we're trying to make it big, we need volunteers for Maker Faire. We need people that will go and just talk to people as they come up to the booth, hand them one of the flyers, and you're not a sales. You're not doing lose your voice. That doesn't happen. You're not a salesperson. You're not giving a sales pitch. You're talking about the lab, something fun, something that you love, and talk about the stuff that you make or some of the stuff that's on the table, if you know what it is. So we just need bodies there to help us organize and run the booth. Also to set up, if you're not able to attend during the whole event, just helping to set up and break down is also very helpful. We also are still doing the $500 for supplies. So basically, members have said that they will donate up to $500 to fund Maker Faire projects. So if you have a project that you're trying to get together and you need some extra funds for it, maybe you need materials, maybe you need tools or something, let us know. Break it down. It doesn't have to be extremely detailed, but break it down and let us know how you're going to achieve it. And there has to be a guarantee that you're going to achieve it before Maker Faire. And what we'll do is we'll give you some of those funds out of that 500 in order to do that. That's how much we want stuff at this booth. We're making sure that if you're going to make something, or if you need the money to make something, we're going to help you make it happen. I would love to see something interactive. I know this is kind of a generic idea. I don't have any specifics behind it, but something that can get people to the booth and play with or take part in. The toys are something that we're doing as a good example. We're having people put the wooden toys together as part of the involvement, and then they either take it or their money goes to the donation. So keep that in mind, that kind of thing, getting the people, not just getting the people there, kind of keeping them there so that they can see all the stuff. Otherwise, they might just pass by, oh, that looks neat, and then keep going, thinking we're selling something. So that's the best, is to have something interactive. If not, if it's just something you made, I made that clock the one year, that stopped a lot of people, which was amazing. Even after it broke and only like 2 digits were running, it was still entertaining to people. So anything like that, let us know. And like I said, email it to board@familab.org, and we can see what we can do about getting you the funds. Workshops and open houses, again, if you have ideas, jump in. fill out the form online. I know there's now a security thing. I know it's not on the calendar yet.
Yeah.
We might want to talk to Dustin, see if we can get on the calendar. 'cause
It
seems
might
like
take
it's
another month or so because the guy he wants to do it with is out of town
Gotcha.
for the month.
So even something like that, even if it's not every week or every month or anything like that, if you just want to have a random thing, fill out the form online. If it's something
It takes a minute. It
Yeah,
really
it
does
takes-
take just a minute.
takes about a minute to fill out. If it's something that is questionable or we don't, we have questions about it, the board will talk to you about it. But it essentially goes straight to the public calendar. So it kind of eliminates the process of us having to add it to the calendar. We haven't had any kind of craziness happen yet. Everybody's being respectful with it. But just keep that in mind. If you want to add something, it'll automatically go on the calendar. You don't need it approved. But if it is kind of shady or something's weird about it, we are going to reach out to you before we allow it to actually happen. But, Amazon wish list is been up there. I haven't added anything to it. I haven't had any requests to add anything to it. But if you want to make a donation to the lab and you want it to actually go towards something specific, there are things on there that you can help with. For instance, we still need the water separator for the air hose on the Boss laser before we can really run it. That's been up there for a while. There's a few other things up there, bits and bobs that can be used. If there's something you think that members might be interested in purchasing, or even just some materials or something for the workshop, let me know. I can add it to it. But yeah, the link for that is l.familab.org/Amazon. We'll get back to outreach. I want to move on to the FIRST Robotics. You guys want to talk a little bit about what FIRST Robotics? I'm sorry, what Gamma Rays is?
Yeah, absolutely. You want to talk? Okay.
Can they see through me?
Hi, everyone. So, should I stand up in the front?
It's up to you. Whatever you want to do. Whatever makes you comfortable or not.
You can hear me. So I'm Sandra Archer. Nice to meet you all. So I'm a mom and a coach of a FIRST Robotics team. We're called Gamma Ray. So that's FIRST Tech Challenge team. We're a community-based team. Right now we have 8 members. And then we've also added a Lego robotics team as well this year. This year we'll be adding Lego. So we'll have 5 more kids on that. And I'm here, speaking of outreach, for that exact reason. Is one of the purposes of the team isn't just for kids to get together and build robots, but also to plug into the community, do outreach, build their skills. And part of that is just reaching out to the community, finding partners, finding people who can support the team, and giving them opportunities to get out there in the community. You mentioned Makerspace as an example. Last year we were out at Makerspace. Oh, sorry, Maker Fair. Maker Fair. We were out there. We had a table as part of the first booth. And the students get the opportunity to stand there, show off their robot, demonstrate to the public, get those public speaking skills, and try to engage others and gain interest in others that they want to get involved in robotics, and all other STEM fields as well. So the group that we've got going is a great group. This is my son, Kitson. He's on the team. But these students have an interest beyond just robotics. These are the tinkerers and the experimenters and the electronic makers and the computer taker aparters and the 3D printers. They're such a creative group, and I know that that's what this space is all about as well. So that's why, we wanted to just kind of come out and meet you guys and figure out what kind of partnership we could have, even if it's just connecting with some of your membership. That's what we're looking to do. We have, for example, our kids also are doing things like the BattleBots, the robot competitions. And we were out in Tampa and we met with the director of the Makerspace out there, it's the AMRFC lab in the University Mall. And she was like, "You've got to call FamiLAB." And that's where I kind of started making this connection. Like, oh yeah, that's what's kind of what's happening here. So, but yeah, so the things that we were kind of hoping to gain is a mutually beneficial kind of this partnership. We need space because we don't have space. We're kind of meeting at my house, our living room, our back porch, which is hot. The libraries, we're bouncing around because we're not based in a school. We're just, a lot of us, the students are homeschoolers. Some are from public school, private school, where they don't have an opportunity for a team But these are kids who really are passionate about this, so we're trying to just make it happen. You know, we're just kind of parents trying to make it happen for them. I heard you mention grants. You know, that's something we're always chasing after too, is looking for funds and writing grants. We did get some grants last year to get us started in our rookie year because we were a rookie team, so they give you grants as a rookie team, try to get you started. It's how they hook you, right?
Mhm.
And then the next year, you know, we're going through our second year, there's no more grants. So we're out there looking for grants. So maybe that's something we could potentially either help you write a grant, or you could help us write a grant, or maybe there's a grant that somebody has that is looking for a youth organization where we could be your special project, or you never know what's out there. But as I mentioned, expertise. I know that the folks that are here are the tinkers and the coders and the makers. And then, yeah, Maker Fair just came up as something you were mentioning, something we could potentially, you know, the kids would have another opportunity possibly to come out and help out there. They're there anyway. They could come over and help with the booth, or, you know, we just get that opportunity to be out there with the public and sharing their passion and growing those skills for them. So.
That'd be great. And you've been working with Justin on that, right?
Yeah, so we came out, I came out last year. Last year was our rookie year. At the beginning of the year, we came out and met, you know, we took a tour, and, you know, it was my first time seeing the facility and just trying to brainstorm some ideas of what we could do. I got an idea for what the space looked like, and then the robotics season kind of took off. We just got busy doing that. But now that our year's ended, we've had our rookie year. Now I have a better understanding of what the team entails, you know, kind of what we want to do going forward. And I just didn't want the opportunity to pass us by, to not start up our next year, which is an opportunity to talk again about, you know, how we can just be partners, you know, just
absolutely.
grow. So
That's awesome.
I don't know, did you have anything to add, Kristen?
I don't think so. You said so.
Yeah, so thank you.
One thing I wanted to touch on, I know a little bit about it, but you're talking about robotics, and you said, and some of them are in the battle nets. I
Right.
think a lot of times, especially around here, because we had so many people focused in battle bots, I wanted you to just kind of touch on what kind of robotics do you guys do, if not only battle bots?
So as I mentioned, the first team, we have two teams that are Lego robotics team. So that's the little programmable, made out of Lego robots. A lot of the students, like Gibson, is also just tinkering with the other Lego products and in the product lines and the EV3s and other robotics that they have. And so I know, I'm thinking about Maker Fair, there's all kinds of things that Lego's related to. Then the other team, which is the Gamma Rays team, the tech team is, it's just a robotics piece that is, there's an autonomous piece, and then there's a programmable piece. That's a challenge. So they get together there's several meets during the year where they meet with other teams and they compete for gaining points on the scoreboard, and they're trying to program their robot to score points. And then they can advance through the league eventually to the state championship and then to the world championship, which is every year in Houston. And that's the larger scale competition. And
It's more practical uses for robots. It's like having a robot
like performance tasks.
Yeah, perform a task versus just the fighting thing, which is neat.
Right.
But,
So then so the students though have, like I mentioned, they have personal interests as well. So one of the personal interests a lot of them are into is the battle bot. So every year at Maker Fair, you know, a lot of our team members are out there doing the battle bot competition. We did the battle bot competition out at Tampa. That was Roboticon had one. There's a couple that are popping up around the state that a lot of our members are into. What other robotics are you into? Yeah, FRC is another first team that we're involved with. So, like I said, the students that we've got together are just those that have that tons of interest.
Nice.
I'd love to see more opportunities for youth to do battle bots because there's not a whole lot, you know, in the area.
right.
So, you know, maybe we could make an opportunity for some people to get together and do a little bit of battle bot. In fact, Kitson made his own. He's working on a robot, and he made his own little arena at home to start battling others. So, you know, maybe we could have a little event where kids who are interested, because I love that, you know, seeing those smash up is, you know, lots of fun. So, and he's also worked on making his own robots because the entry into the robotics can be expensive and it can be budget, you know, prohibitive. But he's been 3D printing and designing his own. I'm speaking for you. I should let you describe it yourself. You want to tell him about your robot?
I just do basic robotics, and I'm kind of self-taught. Just grab the documentation and just figure out how it works, trial and error. That's fun. So
So you design parts of the 3D print, or do you had Or do you just find parts online?
I design
You design. What do you use for designing?
Onshape.
Onshape? Okay, cool. We have a Fusion 360 meetup that Mike over there pretty much leads. It's all virtual. So we just connect online and talk about all different stuff in Fusion. He's a master at it, so if you have any questions, he'll let you know. I don't know if he's well versed in Onshape at all, but a lot of them are kind of the same. So that might be something to look into for that. But that's cool. So if anybody wanted to talk to you about it or get involved, what's the best way? Are you on our Slack, or do you just want to be emailed, or?
Well, that's maybe something I was going to ask is like what would be a good way for us to kind of plug in?
Slack.
Yeah.
Yeah, Slack is pretty much that's our number one communication platform. So any kind of announcements or anything is really got pushed through there. We've done like a newsletter email, and not very many people pay that much attention to their emails. Plus, it ends up sometimes in the spam folder, so it's not as great. But yeah, I think Slack is the best way because you can just post something in general or an announcement. Well, you'd have to get somebody else to post an announcement, one of the board or the ops people to post an announcement. But you can post it in events or in general, and you can even just ask. There's other channels in there. I don't know if you've ever used Slack before, but there's other channels in there for like robotics and electronics and all kinds of stuff that you can join and talk to people in there about things. Ask advice. There's a lot of advice in there. If you just ask, I'm trying to get this one thing going and I can't show a picture of it and I can't get it to work, you'll probably get like 4 or 5 different points of view on how to do it. So it's a great source.
You don't have
So
to be
yeah,
a
I would
member
say
to join our Slack.
yeah, I would say join there, and it's free to anybody to join. So.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and just I'll probably just create like a team gamma rays ID in there and just maybe post a few things about
It's free to join, but you'll have to pay the fee.
Okay.
Have to pay to leave.
Yeah.
Boy, that
Terrible
sounds
job.
threatening.
Right? Let's not threaten the new people.
We accept blood.
Blood Springfield, not Michelle lives in Jersey.
Okay.
All right. So, and moving into outreach. Go ahead.
About the robotics, I mean, you mentioned a variety of things. Are there any specific things that you were is more important? Need people to assist, or do you need space to work in, or do you need money, or what's the big item, guys?
Yeah, I think that moving forward, we're looking to create a sustainable program. So some of that is, looking for, connecting with members of the community. A lot of it is about giving the students ownership of the team itself and letting them figure out their own problems. So instead of having the coaches come in and say, here, let me fix it for you, it's having them learning how to ask that question. So there is times when they're needing things like this is a metal cut or something 3D printed, and instead of just saying, here, let me show you how to do it, seeking out an expert who can help them. So there is problem solving in general in building a robot, trying to configure it or build it. The actual hardware piece is a challenge. There's coding associated with it, but sometimes something they're looking for help with. But yeah, space is an issue too. So yeah, being able to come and use the space, like the classroom space, just to have like a workshop or a training day.
Is
Is
this room big enough to host one of your battles?
Oh,
sorry, the first robotics challenge.
Yeah, definitely not the actual field, but it would be good enough for us to have like a workshop if we wanted to get the students together and do like a CAD workshop, so maybe build those skills, or a programming day where we could set up with tables where we could all be focused, and have a day where we can have an extended period of time. Because one of the challenges with the library is like on Friday they close at 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock, depending which library it is. There's only so many days and hours after school, so it's really hard when they say close at 5 o'clock and we have the meeting reserved till 5:30 and 5:30 to ringing the bell and kicking her out. So, having a space where we could have a class that could run till 7 o'clock would be really nice.
Absolutely.
Opposed to just like our house where, there's just so many distractions or only so much space.
Yeah. Usually we have for classes like that, we have people reserve the classroom, but you can really reserve pretty much any section. So if you guys are working on something specific that you need to be in the metal shop on, reserve that. So that's all on the website. I'm sure you talked to Justin about it. But yeah, we can go over that and definitely doable.
It might be an idea to just have, set up an event that guys come in and then we have people here who volunteer to be here at the same time, so that you have a facility, you might have a little bit of support.
Yeah.
Just to set up an event, see how that works out. Everything at FamiLAB, we kind of try it and see if it works. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Lots of
appreciate
trial
that.
and error.
yeah,
Especially if you can specify the type of needs, like if you might anticipate metal shop needs or 3D printing needs. We all have different areas of expertise or levels of expertise. So it might be good to say, hey, we're going to be having a part in this. If anybody has knowledge in that, we'd appreciate you being on site.
So, would you be able to code here with your own equipment, or do you need us to supply the computers for you?
Yeah, we have our own.
We have a good.
Yeah, we have our
Okay.
own computers.
Okay.
But when it gets into that stuff, let us know if you need anything as well, because we have a lot of random stuff. We do have computers here that could be used. They're a little bit slower and older, but it really depends on your need. We could possibly make stuff happen. Just let us know before your event comes up. See
Okay.
what we can do.
That's good to know, actually, because not every member has their own device, and
Yeah.
you know, maybe if we did a workshop or something, it'd be great to have each student on their own.
Yeah, definitely.
So thank you so much. I might just pass this around, or I'll just leave it here. If anybody wants to see it, it's just our notebook. The kids put that together each year, last year, the first one.
Okay.
So it just tells them a little bit about the team, and that's what they take with them to competition. So when they go to competition, it's twofold. One is they do the robots and they gain scores and go forward, but the other is they create a portfolio and they present that to judges. And then there's different awards that they are trying for. So there's like an innovation award and a team outreach award and several different types of awards that they're trying to get. So that's part of what the
That's awesome. So it's not just one skill set of like robotics. It's actually the whole process.
Yeah, they're definitely, and that's why I'm here. I mean, that's part of what we want the students to be able to do. And one of the things we mentioned maybe with Justin was maybe even just the students having a chance to come present,
Yeah.
or just have a workshop where they can come present. So
I was thinking about that.
That'd be awesome.
You want the, like, Tuesday social time, if the people can sit here just listen. The kids can get used to talk to strangers.
And that's part of what we're trying to give them, is the skill too, right? Is just to be able to go out.
So
and talk and-
So you use a visual-based programming techniques?
Yes, so in our first year, we decided to do visual-based programming techniques. Students just are not many of our members knowing exactly text coding. In our future years, however, we plan to do it in the text-based language that
Okay.
these robots support.
All right.
Awesome. All right. I don't want to cut anybody off. If you guys all have more questions hopefully you guys will be here after the meeting. We can get you up with more questions, but that's awesome. I can't wait to see what happens with how we can collaborate. With that, the outreach meeting, which is all online, is the next meeting's on July 23rd. So if you have ideas that you think can be done, or that could be done that help improve the lab, or things like working with gamma rays, please jump on that outreach meeting. Be prepared to not just present an idea, but to take part in that idea too, though, because we do get a lot of, we should do this. I'm not going to do it, but we should do it. That can get kind of frustrating, because then they get frustrated that the idea is never put in the action. It's like, well, we don't have those people to do that. So even if you don't have ideas and you just want to help take part, join the outreach hangout online, and we can point you in the correct direction. Justin, did you have something on that?
Yeah, two things. One, July 3rd, not 23rd. So I realize it's the Thursday before the holiday, but please jump on if you can. It's usually 30 minutes unless we get a good conversation going. Not that much. And then to Adam's point, everybody has lots of great ideas. It's really about bandwidth and finding people to do it. A lot of the stuff is finding some people that can take a few minutes to make some phone calls, follow up on some things. A lot of it's not. It's just if we can get 10 people to make one phone call each, it's less daunting than one of us to take on 10 phone calls and try to block that time out of our day, especially if it has to be done during business hours. So we need help in lots of ways. All creative ideas will be taken. We don't talk about them, but we definitely need people that are going to be able to take that extra step and make some phone calls and do that extra little bit of work that needs to be done.
Awesome, thank you. So moving on, social media. Anytime you make something you're working on, like this would be a good example. Take some pictures of it, post it in the I Made This channel, and just put a little description about it. Make sure there's a description about it though, so that we can post on social media. We will, I know I keep promising this, but we will get back on top of that. So just keep those images coming, even if we don't get to it now, if we get to it in a month, it's still gonna help us. So just go ahead and post that. Just like I said, make sure you post a description about it, because we get a lot of questions when we post on Facebook. And if we have no way of responding to that, it kind of looks kind of bad, because people ask questions about it. But yeah, just let us know also if you want to be tagged in it, or if you want your contact information in it in some way, something like that, so we can direct those questions to you. But keep those coming. That'd be awesome to get more of that going. I'm not going to go over the list of events because they're starting to get big. But at the bottom of the agenda, you can see the list of events that are going on. You can also see on the calendar. We keep that up to date as possible. But we do have some newer stuff going on, I believe.
Circuit Church Blender thingamajig.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is.
Because Adam doesn't read his Slack. That's an example. Circuit Church, that is Mac Rutten with, he does analog music. So he's got a class he's going to do this Friday evening starting at 8 o'clock. $20 to pay for the materials. We'll be making, and this is where I don't know anything about it, he's going to make some sort of analog music making machine, but with some soldering, etc. That's what Mac does. And he's also going to bring back his old, for those who have been around a while, it's been a minute, but he did multimedia nights where he would bring in his analog synthesizers, etc., and play music and explain the process there. So that's why it's brand new. He's doing it as a series that each one's supposed to build on the next one. But I do believe you can come in the middle at any point in time as well. But Mac Rutten on
Slack.
If you have questions, he can give you some more details as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Justin. All right, open discussion. Does anybody want to show off anything they're working on or talk about anything in particular?
I brought in a couple of things I've been working on. So I've been recycling my 3D printer waste by tossing it into silicone molds, which then go into a little thrift store air fryer.
Nice.
360, 400 Fahrenheit, melts down all the little 3D printer poop, and then some of the dice, anything that has a cap really winds up a bit messed up at the tip, at the top. So Whitney does have an idea how I can smooth out these faces.
Wow.
Is it just plastic or is it?
It's all PLA. It's all 3D printer stuff.
Just a straight file. A milling file. Just
Maybe a file or just sandpaper on a flat surface?
I've tried sandpaper, like sand on a flat surface, but that.
I guess that would make more stuff on the edges.
Yeah, it doesn't quite. It smooths out the face if you just hold it like flat. If it's got like pore holes in it, but the edges sometimes end up with this odd little lip.
Yeah,
and that one's kind of.
just a big, like, a file that's that wide and maybe this long. You just hold the
or like on
the
an
die
angle,
down.
just do it.
Just hold the die down and just do this with it, and
Yeah.
it won't bulge like it would with sandpaper. Like the sandpaper bulges when you do that, and it causes it to mess up the corner, the edges, whatever you want to call it.
What's the method again? You used
It's just a silicone mold and a little air fryer I found at Salvation Army.
How much did you pay at Salvation Army for it?
$6.
Good price.
you turn it into a liquid and you just pour it into the bowl?
No, so it doesn't turn into a liquid. It gets like moldable the way it does in the printer itself. I don't think PLA ever fully turns into a pourable liquid. I think it'll burn before it does that. But the air fryer doesn't get hot enough to do that, which is why I really like the air fryer.
Yeah.
You have to pack it into the.
Let's see, you put the scraps in, you run it for like 30 minutes, and that's enough for it to get liquidy, and then it sinks to the bottom, and then you pour more in. You kind of like press down. Start using a painter's knife for that, a little palette knife.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when on a 3D printer, if you turn up the heat really high but don't have any pressure going through it, you'll still get the 3D print ooze out. He's getting it basically to that level, so it's kind of turning it kind of like a liquid, but really more like a slime viscous. Yeah.
Technically, that's called a plastic state.
There you go. What? Plastic state?
Yeah, that's where the word plastic comes from.
Then what's solid plastic? What's the state?
It's still called plastic, but it's solid.
It's a different state.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else? Anything else? No. All right. Unless anybody has anything else, I think we'll go ahead and call the meeting. Thank you for everybody that attended, both in person and online. Nice to see a bunch of people out for these meetings. So just kind of talk to other members about it, encourage them to come out as well, or at least.
I have a question here. Are they planning on doing any kind of woodworking training? Is that not this month?
Not this month because I'm out of town the whole month. If anybody else wants to jump in and do something, please feel free. But I will not be back until the last week of the month. So nothing happening this month on my end.
I'd like to learn how to use the planer, but we wait for whenever somebody's available.
If you have a specific machine, and this is for anybody, throw it out in this class because a few of us know how to use that. Just not going to have a formal training going on a formal class this month. So there's one specific machine you want, throw it out there. Maybe somebody can team up with you to show you how to use it.
Okay. Post on the wood chat.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it with pretty much anything. If there's a machine out there that you want to learn how to use, there's a lot of people here like myself that know how to use them. Not necessarily proficiently, but I could show you how to use a lot of the machines out there. It's just, I'm not going to have an official class on it every single time. So just reach out in the respective channel if it's woodworking, metalworking, 3D printing, things like that, and just ask. There's a lot of times people will just say, "Yeah, I'll stop by. I'll be there this day if you want to come by, and we'll meet up and I'll teach you how to use it." So something to keep in mind. I know D. Ellen was also talking about. She's going to be bringing in for her welder. It is a TIG welder. I always get those mixed up. It's a TIG welder. She said she's going to bring it in, and then it'll probably be here for about a week before she leaves. It'll stay here, but she's going up north. In that time, she said she will be welding here if people want to come and watch her. Otherwise, if you want to learn how to do it, just reach out to her on Slack. And
Who was it? Was it you?
No, D. Ellen.
D. Ellen?
I forget. What's her name in Slack? Is it just D or?
Oh, that D. Okay, D. Okay.
We're the dog.
Yeah.
We call her D. Ellen because then there's Deepak, who actually is also called D. So it's kind of it's a little confusing. Like if I say Mike and there's 8 people stand up, what?
It's the letter D. Ellen and C actually, the letter C.
Okay. So yeah. All right. Anybody else? Sorry. Anybody else online? Questions?
On the table. I can see that. Sorry, I can't get there to be there in person, but nice to see someone brought in a vintage singer that they're working on.
Yeah.
She's not a singer, sadly.
No.
What is it?
No, National Sewing Machine Company, which, if it was a singer, all of their manuals on their website go back to 1890 when they were formed.
Nice.
National went out of business in the 50s. It doesn't have a website.
That's why they went under.
No, that's why. Because they didn't have their website in the 50s.
So the manual was not easy to find.
But you did find it?
There was an auction site that had Uplook that had photos of it, and between that and some other sites, I was able to find most of the manual.
Nice. That's cool.
My apologies for not being at Stitchin'. I'm teaching crafts at a summer camp here in Apopka for June and July. So Diane has been holding down the fort. with stitching and sewing on Wednesdays. So, and she's been having some health issues, so I'm not sure she's there every Wednesday, but just text ahead or, put a note in Slack and let us know if you're planning on coming so we can make arrangements to make sure one of us will be there.
Fortunately, I haven't worked at that time.
Awesome, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, guys, we'll go ahead and close it out. It's just about time anyway, so thank you again for everybody that came by. Thank you again for everybody online. And that's it. Thank you.